Hey everyone, it's keto nutritionist Amy Berger from toitnutrition.com, and I would like to talk to you today about an issue that I see popping up in the keto and low carb world that I think might be leading some people astray or confusing some people, especially if they're new to this way of eating, but even if they're not so new. So we're going to clarify some stuff. Before I get to that though, I want to tell you about some really exciting events my friends from Adapt Your Life are having in October. So 3 weekends in a row in October, they are going to be going to different cities where you can attend a day-long event and get to hear some great local keto and low carb friendly medical practitioners and nutritionists and dietitians in your area if you happen to live in. They are going to be Saturday, October 5th, they'll be in the Phoenix, Arizona area. Saturday, October 12th, they'll be in Raleigh, North Carolina. And Saturday, October 19th, they'll be in San Antonio, Texas. So again, I think they're going to have a link right below, adaptyourlife.com/events. You can find out more information. You can see all the speakers that'll be there. There'll be a link to purchase tickets. Do purchase a ticket if you live in Phoenix, Raleigh, or San Antonio or nearby, because these one-day Adapt Your Life events are a great way to hear some informative educational talks and to network with people or to just meet like-minded people that are doing a low-carb or ketogenic diet in your area. If you feel like the weird one because you're the only one in your household or in your whole family that's doing it, come out to these events. You're going to see hundreds of other people and you will not feel lonely anymore. And these events are great because I've been to several of these Adapt events, and I've also been to some of the larger, keto, more academic conferences. And frankly, those conferences, they're fabulous, but they're kind of beyond the reach for a lot of us, right? The registration fee is sometimes several $100s, plus you might have to buy a plane ticket to fly cross country, plus 2 or days worth of lodging. These Adapt Your Life events, they come to you. You don't have to go to them. Maybe you drive an hour or so. It's a day-long event. You get to hear talks. There's a low-carb lunch included. There's coffee. What more could you want? So do check that out, adaptyourlife.com/events. Just real quick, the one in Phoenix on October 5th, Dr. Adam Nally will be there. Love Adam Nally. I never fail to learn something when I hear him talk. Usually I learn more than one thing that's brand new to me. Dr. Ben Bakikio will be there too. If you are like me and you don't want to be spending 2 or 3 hours in a gym every day, but you kind of need to do something a little more active, Ben wrote a book a long time ago, and he's since, perfected even more, a system of very, very short workouts that get a huge impact, a huge benefit. So definitely check that out. And Raleigh, I'll be speaking in Raleigh on October 12th. Eric Westman, of course, Dr. Westman will be at all these Adapt Your Life events. Raleigh will also have Eric Thorn, a cardiologist from Northern Virginia. Who doesn't love a cardiologist that's keto friendly, that doesn't freak out when his patients tell him they're eating butter and eating bacon and lard? And Dr. Andy Phung, another North Carolina doctor, will be there. Jackie Eberstein, who worked with the late, great Dr. Robert Atkins, the Dr. Atkins. I mean, she's been doing this keto stuff longer than just about anyone these days. Kristie Sullivan, our friend from Cooking Keto with Kristie, and Casey Durango from Go Keto with Casey. We'll all be there in Raleigh, and then the weekend after in San Antonio, my old stomping grounds for U.S. Air Force basic training. Again, you'll have Dr. Westman, a couple of other speakers. Cindy Miller from Nurse Cindy from Ask Nurse Cindy will be there. Allie Miller, no relation to Cindy, a registered dietitian and CDE, certified diabetes educator, who also is keto friendly. Love to see RDs who are keto friendly and who get it, who understand the stuff. So definitely check out those Adapt events. I will see you in Raleigh. Now let's get down to business. What I want to talk about is, if you have spent any time on keto-oriented Facebook groups or Reddit forums or Twitter feeds or YouTube channels or whatever, you've no doubt come across people saying something like, that's not keto. Somebody maybe posts a picture of food or post a recipe and someone says, carrots aren't keto. You can't have red peppers, they're not keto. As soon as you hear that, you automatically know that that person doesn't quite have a solid grasp of the science involved in the ketogenic diet. And I say that because here's the deal. Well, first of all, let's take a step back. First, who died and made them the keto police? Can we all agree to stop policing what other grown autonomous adults are putting in their mouths? Right? There's a lot of different ways to do keto that can all work, and I'll get to that in more detail in a minute. But don't let anyone be your keto police or your low carb police. If your diet, however you're going about it, is working for you and you're happy with the results you're getting, whether that is losing body fat or, clearing up your skin, getting rid of joint pain, getting rid of acid reflux, bringing your blood sugar down if you have diabetes. If you're happy with your results, then what you're doing is working, and the police can just go police over there, somebody else, right? The more important factor here is that there's no such thing as a food that is or is not ketogenic. Ketosis and the state of ketosis is not a property that's inherent to a food. It's not a property that is in or not in a food. Ketosis is a metabolic state. Ketosis is not defined by the foods that you are or are not eating. It's defined by what's happening metabolically and physiologically inside your body. And the state of ketosis is achieved generally, it can be achieved a couple of different ways. Most of us achieve it through a very, very low carbohydrate intake. Because when that happens, blood sugar remains low, low normal. Insulin remains low most of the time. When you have a low insulin level, it keeps you in the fat burning state. And ketones, here's the thing. So how do I clarify? There's no, like I said, there's no food that is or is not ketogenic. We all have our own individual threshold or tolerance level for carbohydrate. Some people are so sensitive to carbohydrate and are so intolerant of carbohydrate that they have to stay, for example, below 20 total grams of carbohydrate per day. That's Dr. Westman's page 4 diet, right? The reason he starts everyone at 20 grams total carbs per day or less, fewer, it's, don't subtract the fiber, don't subtract the sugar, alcohol, 20 total grams. That's very strict. The reason he starts everybody out that strictly is because he knows that at that strict a level, at that low a total carbohydrate intake, just about everybody will be in the metabolic state of ketosis. They won't have to track and measure their food. They won't have to use an app. They won't have to measure their ketones, because when your carb intake is that low, if you're following the page 4 food list and following the instructions, you will be in ketosis by default. You don't have to check whether you are or not. The thing is, though, and Dr. Westman knows this, not everybody needs to be at 20 grams or fewer a day. Many of us can have 30, 40, 50, 60, maybe even more grams of carbohydrate per day and still remain in a ketogenic state, right? Like I said, the amount of carbohydrate any of us can eat and still be in the state of ketosis varies. Generally, younger people have a higher carb tolerance. If you are leaner and a lot more muscular, if you're much more active athletically or physically doing a lot of exercise, you have probably a higher carb tolerance. It all factors in. So it's not even solely about the actual food. It's about your whole body and lifestyle. Even how much sleep you get can affect your sensitivity to carbohydrate. I don't want to go into too much detail there, but there is a lot of, many factors that go into the carbohydrate tolerance. The point is, whether something is keto or not does not exist. There's no food that is or is not a ketogenic food. Food is not ketogenic. Your body is ketogenic. Your body is the thing that generates the ketones. And here's the second part of this issue. When someone says, well, that's not keto, all right, whatever, do you even have to be in ketosis? Maybe, maybe not. If you pick up any biochemistry textbook and it explains, when they're talking about the process of ketogenesis, how ketones are made, it always says ketones result from the incomplete oxidation of fatty acids. What does that mean in plain English? It means that ketones are produced when you are burning fat, you're metabolizing fat, and you're breaking down fat in such a way that it's either so much or so quickly that it's overwhelming some of your cells and tissues' capacity to use it in a timely manner. So rather than fully metabolizing all that fat, it metabolizes some of the fat and shunts the rest of it off to be converted into ketones. And the ketones then themselves can be used in certain cells and tissues as a fuel source. But the thing to really understand there is that you can absolutely be burning fat. You can be oxidizing fat, metabolizing fat, have your body fueled primarily by fat without being in ketosis. Meaning, if you were to measure your blood, breath, or urine, your ketones are not measurable. Your blood might show 0 millimolar. Your urine strip might not change color. That doesn't necessarily mean you are not burning fat. If you are completely burning the fat, fully burning it and using it, the ketones are not going to accumulate in the blood. They're not going to be expelled through the urine. Again, the biochem textbook always says it's the incomplete burning of fat. So, but that's not a bad thing, right? Well, why isn't my body fully burning the fat? Isn't that what I want? There's a lot of overlapping pathways and different mechanisms that control this stuff. It's not good or bad. It just really depends on the metabolic context. The point really is that so we all have a different carbohydrate tolerance that allows us to stay actually in the state of ketosis, but not everyone needs to be in the state of ketosis. Many of us do, of course. You watching this might have a medical condition that specifically responds to the therapeutic ketosis, where you actually need ketones circulating in your blood. A lot of healthy people, especially some of the athletes that do keto just for performance, don't really need the ketones. They just feel better running on fat. And a lot of us, we prefer to be in the state of ketosis because maybe we notice that physically, mentally, emotionally, and cognitively, we think and perform our best and feel our best when we are in the state of ketosis. Some people don't even know, they don't notice any difference when they bounce in and out of ketosis. They're in, they're out over the course of days or weeks or months. They don't notice any difference. And that's not bad that they don't notice a difference. It just shows that they don't require a state of deep ketosis to feel their best if they feel good all the time. So to say, carrots aren't keto, you might be following a specific protocol that the food list doesn't include carrots or red peppers or even beets or even like lentils or something, some slightly sweeter or starchier food, butternut squash, for example. So you might be following a specific plan that those foods are not included. It doesn't mean that those foods are entirely off limits if you're doing a ketogenic diet. Food, as long as you stay under your personal carbohydrate threshold, you'll be in ketosis. And so again, some people are going to have to stay below 20. Some people can go 50, 60, maybe even more, especially if they're working out hard, if they do a little bit of intermittent fasting. So there's not really any food that is off limits. Now, are there particular foods that are more conducive to helping somebody get into ketosis and stay there? Yes, of course. Of course, something like a steak or a grilled pork chop with some steamed, broccoli or some roasted asparagus or some eggplant, of course, that type of stuff is going to be more conducive to maintaining the state of ketosis. But that doesn't mean that you can't ever have some carrot shredded on your salad, or some red peppers if you're having fajitas and you're having chicken and steak strips, and you want to have some onions and peppers. They don't always have to be green peppers that are a little lower in carbs than something like the red and orange ones, right? I've heard Dr. Westman joke, bread is ketogenic if you eat that much of it, right? So there's not really any, again, ketogenic is not a property inherent in any particular food. It's a metabolic state that occurs in your body. And even a pure fat, even olive oil, you would think, well, fat is ketogenic, right? Because fat is allowed on any version of a ketogenic diet. Yes, that doesn't mean if you're eating lots and lots of sugar and starch, if you just have lots of oil, is that going to put you in ketosis? No, because it doesn't work that way. Maybe if you were using MCT oil or coconut oil, because those special fats get more readily converted to ketones, but that's not what we're talking about. Just because you can have plenty of oil and fat on a ketogenic diet doesn't make that food ketogenic. I can't stress this enough. The food is not what's ketogenic. Your body is what's ketogenic. And some people might be able to have 50 or 60 grams of carbs and be ketogenic. Obviously, not all of us can. Some of us have to stay at 20. Some of us have to stay at 10. And like I said, not everyone needs to be in ketosis. So who cares whether a food is or is not ketogenic? If you don't require therapeutic ketosis, you tell the food police, again, go police over there, go police somebody else. I don't need your services. Thank you very kindly. Like I said earlier, there are a lot of different ways to be successful on a ketogenic or low carb diet. If your approach, if your food choices, if the amount of food you're eating works for you, if you are happy with the results you're getting, then keep doing it. Don't let anyone tell you you're doing it wrong, or, like I said, that's not keto or it's not good enough. If your ketogenic diet looks very different from someone else's, guess what? That's totally okay. That's totally fine. If you're not happy with the results you're getting, then you have to say, maybe I am eating too much carbohydrate for my own individual tolerance, or maybe I'm actually eating too much fat if I'm having trouble losing body fat. There's all different kinds of things that play into this, but don't let anyone make the rules for you. You have to do what fits your life best and your health best and your current circumstances and situation best. There's no right way. There's no right way to do this. And that's it, I guess. Again, I'm Amy Berger. My website is tuitnutrition.com, TUIT nutrition.com. I do see clients. If you're looking for help with keto, you can find more about me there. And I have a YouTube channel of my own, so you can check that out. Same name, Tuit Nutrition. And that's how you find me on Twitter, Tuit Nutrition. I will see you in Raleigh on Saturday, October 12th. And if you don't live in Raleigh, but you live near Phoenix or San Antonio, check out Adapt Your Life at those events. Again, adaptyourlife.com/events. You can find out all the details. Take care. Bye-bye.